Okay. So. Actually, you know what? I'll grab the link, and I will hand it to you, David, because I think that you would have fun reading the Flatwoods monster for us. And telling everybody what it is. Because today's creature is the Flatwood monster. I think it looks like a candle. Since the thing is really long, the only part you need to read really is the first bit up top of the Wikipedia page that says, you know, just the general gist of the thing. It doesn't look like it's got a description, but if you want to read the history of it, you can. I know that that's kind of long, so you don't have to read the whole thing if you don't want to, but we just want to let people know kind of what this thing is about.
Very well.
And I will begin.
I shall proceed with my creepiest storytelling voice. The Flatwoods monster, also known as the Braxton County monster, the Braxy, or the Phantom of Flatwoods in West Virginia folklore, is an entity reported to have been sighted in the town of Flatwoods in Braxton County, West Virginia, United States, on September 12, 1952, after a bright object crossed the night sky. Over 50 years later, some investigators have stated that they believe the light was a meteor, and the creature was a barn owl perched in a tree, with shadows making it appear to be a large humanoid.
Well, that kind of takes all the mystery out of it.
Wow, that's just immediately. Wow, immediately just shattered our illusion in that first paragraph even. Okay.
Pretty much.
Did not waste any time. Hot damn. Okay.
That's what I like. I like an article that doesn't waste my fucking time.
Hey there, Nova! I'm doing the Flatwood Monster today. David is reading the description, or well, he read kind of the description, just that it was a folklore monster, and then, for some reason, Wikipedia felt that, the first thing you needed to be told is that it was probably just a barn owl being backlit by a meteor.
This is like that. You guys see the tweet about the person who noticed that all the furniture in the... Alright, so you guys have all seen Ratatouille, I assume.
Yes. I
Yes.
haven't actually seen Ratatouille.
The masterpiece that is Ratatouille. Yeah.
I haven't actually seen it, I'm not gonna lie.
We need to fix that.
There are many things I haven't seen that we need to fix. Including Kung Fu Hustle.
Alright.
And Shaolin Soccer. But yes, go ahead.
Okay, so there is... What's the word? There is a scene where you see an old lady in the beginning of the movie, and then later on, you see a scene where someone has a flashback. And the audience noticed that it's all the same furniture in both of these scenes. And then someone on Twitter posted, "Oh, are these like clever hints that this is actually the same woman?" And then the creator said, "Oh, no, it's not. We just reuse furniture assets." And then everyone was just like,
"Aww.
Why didn't you just let us believe?"
Yeah, I was like, why didn't you just say, yeah, sure? Well, damn. It's just like this one. Couldn't you have just let us believe? Couldn't you have just, like, had it be like, and some people debate about blah, 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 and then just use the description or the section underneath that talks about what it could have actually been to talk about it instead of going, it was probably an owl. We know it was probably an owl. But that's just not like the reason we were reading it.
It's like the Batman episode with like Baby Doll. And he was like, "Why couldn't you just let me make believe?"
Well, in that instance, it's because she was doing murder.
Oh yeah.
Which, as we discussed last night, is very uncool.
Yes, exceptionally uncool. The My Little Ponies do not approve of the murder. Yeah, Nova says Wikipedia's sure like, what is suspension of disbelief?
So, at 7:15 p.m. on September... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I didn't say anything. Sorry. That's the history section, right?
Should I even bother at this point?
I mean, you can tell people, like, how, like... You can read about, like, how it was first, like, seen. I mean, we know that people declared later that it was clearly a barn owl, but, like, how did we even have Flatwoods Monster?
Yeah.
At 7:15 p.m. on September 12, 1952, two brothers, Edward and Fred May, and their friend Tommy Heyer, said that they saw a bright object cross the sky and land on the property of local farmer G. Bailey Fisher. The boys went to the home of Kathleen May, where they told their story. May, accompanied by the three boys, local children Neil Nunley and Ronnie Shaver, and West Virginia National Guardsman Eugene Lemon, went to the Fisher farm in an effort to locate whatever it was that the boys had said they had seen. The group reached the top of a hill, where Nunley said they saw a pulsing red light. Lemon said he aimed a flashlight in that direction and momentarily saw a tall, man-like figure with a round, red face surrounded by a pointy, hood-like shape.
Descriptions the toughest of collars. Please continue, sorry.
Not to worry. In an article for Fate magazine based on his tape-recorded interviews, UFO writer Gary Barker described the figure as approximately 10 feet tall, with a round, blood-red face, a large, pointed hood-like shape around the face, eye-like shapes which emitted greenish-orange light, and a dark black or green body. May described the figure as having small claw-like hands, clothing like folds, and a head that resembled the ace of spades. According to the story, when the figure made a hissing sound and glided toward the group, Lemon screamed and dropped his flashlight, causing the group to run away. The group said they had smelled a pungent mist and I imagine that was as they were running away.
That might have been the people who soiled their pants.
Indeed.
A big old spook duty.
And some later said they were nauseated. The local sheriff and a deputy had been investigating reports of a crashed aircraft in the area. They searched the site of the reported monster, but saw, heard, and smelled nothing. According to Barker's account, the next day, A. Lee Stewart Jr. of the Braxton Democrat claimed to have discovered skid marks.
Really? How did they now? I'm actually gonna turn my mic down a little bit. I'm peeking bad. Okay, there we go.
Claimed to have discovered skid marks in the field and an odd gummy deposit, which was subsequently attributed by UFO enthusiast groups as evidence of a saucer landing.
Was it? Was it? Or was it the spooky dookie?
Are we sure these people hadn't been taking horse medicine?
Yeah, you know what?
This sounds like ivermectin to me.
This sounds like somebody got scared by UFO experts 50 years from now. You know, this really sounds like a case of somebody being scared by a barn owl and pooping their pants. And they just don't want to admit it, so they said it was an alien.
I think it was an alien that made that poopy.
It was an alien. It's a space poo.
Oh my god.
Like ghost fart gas, the alien space poo. The poo. Space poo? Space poo. Amazing.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Go ahead.
Alright, so one last paragraph to go.
Mm-hmm.
According to former news editor Holtburn, newspaper stories were carried throughout the country. Radio broadcasts were carried on large networks, and hundreds of phone calls were received from all parts of the country. The National Press Services rated the story number 11 for the year. A minister from Brooklyn came to question the May family. A Pittsburgh paper sent a special reporter. UFO and Fortean writers like Gray Barker and Ivan T. Sanderson arrived to investigate.
Spooky.
That's basically it. Basically, there was a spooky dicky.
Basically, some dudes got scared by a barn owl and pooped their pants. All things considered, though, that's more to go on than, like, when we were reading about the Kelpie yesterday, because I read a description of it, and then it didn't provide any actual description. It just said, oh, it's a creature in folklore.
It's a creature
that pulls people into the water. It didn't even say it was a horse. As a matter of fact, the painting that they have on display on the Kelpie page is a painting of a woman on a rock. And it's called the Kelpie.
It's not even a horse.
So, yeah. Well, I'll only say it briefly, because obviously we're talking about the Flatwoods monster. But in the description, it was just like, you know, sometimes it's a person, and then sometimes people say it's a horse. But, you know. And then Mike and I had an entertaining conversation about what that might mean. If you found a rando human being like, you want to go for a ride? No. The real Kelpie was the friends we made along the way, says Nova. And to answer your previous question, Nova said, where did Zhang Li come from? Man's a VA. Yes, David is a voice actor.
Hello. Yeah, I just looked that person up. I am in the similar voice range to him as he's played by an actor named Keith Silverstein.
Good.
I've done a little bit of impersonating him before.
Particularly, I've had a fun time playing Torbjorn from Overwatch.
Oh my god, does the guy who plays Zhang Li also play Torbjorn?
Yes, he does.
Oh my god, the range! I could not tell! I could not tell!
He's very good, Keith.
What?
He's very good. He also plays back to the crocodile cycle.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? You glitched a little bit. Who does he play in Sonic Boom?
Vector the crocodile.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Got versatility.
No kidding. Because the only other role that I'd, like, heard... He also plays the S'mores Dragon in Epithet Erased, says Nova. See... The only other role I, like, really knew he had done was the one from, Miraculous Ladybug, which is Hawkmoth, and that's primarily because it just straight up sounds like him. He's also played a couple of other roles where his voice isn't too terribly different from his default, and that's why sometimes you can find clips of, like, Zhang Li cursing people out, because it's just a clip from the other game he played. In.
Yeah.
So
he does have a very cool natural voice. Like probably the biggest one amongst video game fans is he plays Hunk from Resident Evil.
He is Hunk. Oh no. Hunk, the character that people haven't decided if they actually like or not. It's unclear. By the way, when I was looking for references for this thing, like, this is the original initial sketch from the newspaper. At least I think it was in a newspaper. It seems to have been. Is this one over here. This one right here, this chair, is actually at the town hall in the town it appeared in. So that's as far as I determined were accurate images of this creature. Was this. It's like, okay, cool, here we go.
The one on the left looks like a vague sort of ghost. The one on the right looks like a D&D race that's about to be introduced.
I love that this thing has the poppest of collars. You cannot pop a collar harder than the Flatwoods monster.
Oh, and if you want a role that is definitely... you ever seen an anime called Monster?
I have heard of it, but have not seen it.
Alright. If you watch that one, that's a fun one to also know that Keith plays like the villain in that one.
Oh, well, that's interesting. If I remember correctly, the premise of that one is a surgeon saves the life of a patient with a risky illness. And that person turns out to be like a horrific serial killer who starts dedicating all of his new crimes to the doctor who saved his life.
Close. Like, it is pretty much
something like that.
What it was is that there's a Dr. Tenma who is like the best surgeon in Germany. He's played by Liam O'Brien. And what happens is 2 patients come in at the same time. One's a very important political figure who comes in second, and one's a boy who was shot in the head by his shot in the head after both of his parents are killed, who comes in first. The board of directors of the hospital says, see to the politician, leave the boy. This is a very important figure. We want our best doctor on it. And he says, no, I'm seeing to this boy who's been shot. So, he saves the boy's life. The politician dies. His career basically goes down the tubes after that. And as you said, turns out this child is actually a serial killer.
Or at least grows up to be one. Because of the bullet in his brain, screwed him up or whatever. Something like that. I
believe, it's inferred at some point that he was the one who killed his parents and that his sister tried to shoot him in the head.
Oh, to protect herself. Oh, I see. Okay.
I'm not sure if that's exactly what happened, but I think that might be it.
That sounds like it might be the case. Because I did look into it when people were when I first debuted my comic monster. People were like, oh, have you heard of the anime called Monster? I was like, I have not. To answer your question, Pastor Nova, if there are any Brazilian cryptids in the challenge, I don't remember off the top of my head. I know that I looked into stuff from other countries, and unfortunately, in a lot of cases, the ones that are mentioned, at least on the international stage, because I'm sure that there are plenty of them that aren't, were all like Bigfoot, but slightly different, or Loch Ness Monster, again, another giant snake, a cat we thought we saw, and I was like, these are all the same cryptid. Where's all the cool stuff? Where's the stuff like the Flatwoods monster? Surely the American Appalachian region is not the only place that came up with completely batshit cryptids that are in the area. Where is everything? And I managed to find a handful. Oh, Pastor says you would have a field day with some of ours. Oh, good. So maybe there are some on this list. I don't remember off the top of my head. If I didn't include them, then feel free to share them, and I can add them to the list for next year, because this is fun. But yes, go ahead.
Taking a look now, sorry about that. There's a wiki for cryptozoology, and there's one here that has the tag Brazil. So I'm just taking a look to see what's here. There's definitely some Bigfoot-looking ones. There's this thing called the hairy dwarf. Brazilian bird-eating tree.
Okay.
Chupacabras?
Those
are Mexican.
I think the chupacabra is seen all down the coast. It's... I talk about Laura, but she's just a Brazilian siren. Yeah, I tried to leave out cryptids. Oh, the kuka? Nova says, oh my, OMG, the kuka. So the kuka is good. The kuka would look so good in your style. Oh, well then I have to look up the kuka. But I tried to avoid cryptids that were just a person. There's one really popular one, and I think it's from down Georgia or near Georgia, that's just the ghost of a vampire lady. And I'm like, well, that's a little too supernatural. Kelpie was kind of, riding the line. Except that people still mention the Kelpie today. So, there's 4 more. There's the Curupia, the Boitata, Saki Pereire, and the Boto Corderosa. I do not know what those are, but I'm definitely going to look them up and add them to the list next year. Good Lord.
Brazilian bird-eating tree is a...
Oh, go ahead.
I'll go ahead and do it in let's do it in the most loud voice of all. The Brazilian bird-eating tree is a cryptid carnivorous plant reported from Brazil. It attracts its prey, small birds, by growing sweet-tasting berries and catching them using its supposedly mobile tentacle-like branches.
Oh my.
Unless the bird can escape, it will be pushed against the trunk of the tree and crushed to death, allowing its blood to be absorbed by suckers in the branches. It also secretes a noxious odor like rotting flesh. Carl Schuger suggests that if it is real, it may be synonymous with the Mexican snake tree, the Nicaraguan dog-devouring tree, and the vampire plant.
Nova is
So
going to be
apparently
sending
there are
some more
carnivorous
descriptions for
trees.
you to read, by the way.
Oh, interesting.
Some descriptions of some of these creatures. That actually reminds me a little bit of a, I think there's actually an SCP based on that. Because I know that there's an SCP that's like, it's like a bush that grows random human body pieces and like hair and things. And apparently it's because it periodically just eats peeps. Hey, King Greed! It is long time no see. How have you been, my guy? Or girl, I actually don't know. I think guy. Could be wrong, correct me. Guy. Okay, I was right. Sometimes I can just tell. For some reason. And then other times, I can't. Which I guess just means I make lucky guesses. I like that this thing is either drawn with, like, robotic hands, or just naked hands with little flappy nub claws. I still think it looks like a big light bulb, or like a Christmas ornament. If they don't sell FLATWOODS monster Christmas ornaments, I will be disappointed. Oh, King Greed says, I'm fine, thank you. I had last week I had COVID, but now I'm fine. Oh, I'm glad that you're okay. I assume you've gotten all the vaccines, so then hopefully it wasn't that bad. I'm doing all right. For the first time in my life today, I had a cavity and I had to have it filled in. So my face feels funny. My face is weird. Oh.
You have offended David.
David did not want to hear that my face was weird. He's gone. His internet went not today. But, other than having to pay the bill for that, much to my displeasure, because I don't like paying big bills. Other than that, I'm fine. Actually, doesn't hurt at all. It's just a little... Actually, the only part of my face that's kind of sore now is just where they shove that thing in your cheek to keep you from, like, clamping your mouth shut by accident because you can't feel it. And the only part of the process that I went, at was when they brought out the big needle. Because they do a topical anesthesia for like, the skin. And then they inject stuff to the root of the tooth so it doesn't hurt. But, so for, like, me, I saw it out of the corner of my eye and I was like, that is the biggest syringe! Oh, God! King Greed asks, are you making a new monster picture for October? Yes, I decided for this October I was going to draw a bunch of cryptids. And you weren't here earlier, but basically this cryptid is called the Flatwood Monster. People in the area believe it was a UFO. It is thought its presence makes people sick because it smells really bad. It makes hissing, screechy noises, and it floats. It's 10 feet tall. And it's got a spaceship. Experts, as we read at the very top of the Wikipedia article, experts believe it was actually a screech owl being lit up by a meteor that crashed nearby, and that is what scared the people. So, but I've been creating them. We did the Beast of Bladenborough, which was Big Cat. It is cool, thank you. The second one was the Jersey Devil, which ended up being like a cute little pink guy. By the way, Mikey, the color palette you helped me pick, ace, because there are people that keep leaving comments on it. They're like, he's just a little pink dude. Look at this little man. So, hello, David. Welcome back. At least I think he's back. He is back. Can't hear him, but he's back. Did I post it on Twitter? Yes, I did. I was a little late with posting the Kelpie from yesterday because I had a lot of appointments during the day, so I didn't have time to stream it. But I did record, and I actually finished processing that not too long ago, so it'll go up on YouTube as soon as I can upload it. David was disappointed to hear he had to wait, and he disappeared. And now he's back. Oh, noes. Should I draw evil fart gas coming out from under this thing's dress? You think?
Absolutely.
Yeah, evil space fart gas. I've also been reblogging, or retweeting, I guess, images by people who have also been doing the cryptids from the list that I made. And I was actually really pleased to see how many of them there were. So I keep checking the tags and I keep getting images with me atted in them. And it makes me really happy.
Yeah.
Like, oh, thanks, you guys.
Cloud begins.
Well, I'm the one who asked to be at in the thing. Like, oh, notify me when you make it. So I feel like it's only right that I retweet them so that they get attention, whatever meager attention I can provide. Let's see. I'm gonna give it robo arms like the other one, because I think that looks cool. Big metallic Wolverine claws. Can't wait to see you make the Mothman. I am gonna make the Mothman. The Mothman is one of my favorites. The Mothman legend. He do have a butt. He has the butt. His statue. As the donkest of donks. His story is kind of strange. I think I mentioned it the other day, but partway through the myth of the Mothman, a supernatural expert pops in and he's like, this thing is actually an alien, and I know because it came to me in a form that looked nothing like the Mothman, but I shall tell you about it now. And it's like, uh-huh. So I feel like that is legend adjacent, because the thing he describes looks nothing like the Mothman. It's basically a really tall guy in a silver tracksuit. And I'm like, that's not the Mothman. But the Mothman ended up becoming one of my favorites. I'll talk about the why when we draw him. I'm trying to remember if the Flatwoods monster appears in Fallout 76, because they've got a lot of cryptids in there. Is the Flatwoods monster in?
Yes.
Oh, it is. Does it look like this?
I actually don't remember. I need to look it up.
Because I know that there's like a UFO, or well, there's an alien in there. Ooh. Might have disconnected. I hope my internet.
Right.
Okay, good.
Let me take a look.
Every once in a while, my internet go. Huh. Hopefully that is not a pain.
I think you won't be disappointed by what the Flatwood monster looks like from
Fallout.
From Fallout. I'll link it.
Link that, baby. I will put it on the screen when I see it.
I'll link 2 images. I think you'll like both of them. Because it's Fallout, it has to be able to kill you, right?
Of course. Of course.
It fires a beam.
Oh, hey, dude, let me see. Yes! Oh, that's great. Let me open these and bring these images into the thing so people can see them. Hold on a moment. Please let me see. Thank you. Okay, so here are the 2 pictures that Mike sent me. I'm going to drag them over the screen now. This. Come on. Oh, I tried to move things over. Didn't like that. So this is the Flatwoods monster in Fallout 76. And this is it shooting its beam, which appears to be coming out of its mouth. Which I kind of think is awesome. It's got like big chunky gloves on too. Look at this little fella. Oh, and he's got the evil flaming space gas. It's interesting that this one's purple though. That's cool. That's pretty awesome. Not gonna lie. That's a game that I need to get back into. Because the game wasn't bad at all. I mean, it had some rough patches, but now that it's got like additional narratives from NPCs and stuff, I super want to like see that. King Greed says when he makes his laser, it looks like Tien Shinhan from DBZ. He's not wrong. It does kind of look like it.
True.
All right, and as predicted, this one ended up being pretty quick, which is funny because you would think that something like the Kelpie that is just horse, but with accessories, would be easier than, you know, creature with unique description, but with this little thingy, the sketch of the big one is done. So now, as these per our current tradition, it's time to make the little one, to make the wee one. I need a scribble layer for him. Go. Poor David's internet exploded. I hope he is able to come back.
Same.
He was having so much fun reading all of those descriptions. Alright, let's see. And 4 is face. Big ol' orb.
So apparently, Fallout 76, the Flatwoods monster, is actually related to the Zeta aliens.
Oh, I thought so. Because I know
that's why it has that kind of purple vibe to it.
Oh, because I know that those kinds of UFOs, like the gray-faced aliens, that those are in the woods, and they won't try to kill you. They'll, you know, if you sneak up on them, they teleport away.
That is the Flatwoods monster.
Oh,
if
that
you're
is?
talking about the one in 76, yeah.
Oh, okay, because he never attacked
away.
me. Yeah, he never
He can
attacked
attack
me.
you.
I tried to get him to fight me, and he wouldn't. He just went and disappeared.
Yeah, you have to encounter him when he's hostile.
Oh.
I think nukes will do it. I think he'll get pissed off if you nuke him.
I mean, I feel like that'd piss off most things in that game.
I think so.
To answer your question, Greed, currently in October, yes, I am trying to stream every day to draw these. It also helps me psych myself up for doing more streams more often. It's that ADD executive dysfunction combo. You wait for the right moment to do the thing, but that moment will never come. Yay!
Yes,
welcome back. Welcome back. If you look in the chat, by the way, David, Mike has linked pictures of the Flatwoods monster from the Fallout 76 game. He's purple. They made him purple.
Isn't this like the toughest creature in the game or something?
No. I mean, he can hurt you really bad. Don't get me wrong. Most of the time it teleports away, but if you encounter it when it's hostile, it will beam you in the face. But the toughest creature in the game, I don't know if that's...
It's the Colossus.
It is the Colossus? Okay. Because before it was the queen of the bats. The horrible bat queen. Although the Wendigo will give that a run for your money when that thing just fucking comes out of the darkness. I hated those things. Like, I loved them, but I also hated them. Alright, little
What the hell is this?
If you're looking at the pictures... Oh, the Colossus.
That is a freak.
That's the Colossus.
That is one freaky looking mofo.
Yeah.
The Colossus looks like two dudes that decided to pick up a smaller dude with their stomach and carry him that way. And I will not provide any other explanation.
I don't think any more explanation is necessary.
Nova has provided some descriptions of some Brazilian creatures. I will copy what has been sent so far to the chat that we are using so that you can read them, David, if you would like.
Sure.
Serenade.
I feel like I should use a Brazilian accent, but I also think no.
Nova is also typing out another one, too.
Okay.
The CRYPTOBER, depicted as a young boy with backwards feet and flamed hair. The CRYPTOBER is a guardian of the Brazilian forests. He enacts justice upon hunters and legal lumberjackers by using his backwards feet to create a fake trail of footprints that, upon his target's following, they will lead deeper into the forest and get helplessly lost, sometimes leading to their death or getting so scared that they never come back. Interesting.
Can you imagine if a little shit kid tricked you into going the wrong way because his feet were backwards?
You want to know apparently British soldiers or maybe American ones did that. I saw this thing recently that spies or like people invade, sort of, what's the word? Sort of sneaking into enemy territory.
Mm-hmm.
They would wear these shoes that had the heel on the front and the sole on the back.
Oh,
so
that's
that when
cool.
you were walking, the footprints would go in the wrong direction.
That's really neat, and I bet that's probably where people who learned to read footprints really came in handy, because then they could be like, well, that footprint is going the wrong way. But the pressure is right here at the toe, which means that that's where the heel actually is.
Like, imagine the guy who first discovered that. Like, it was probably because one guy needed to take a leak. They went over there and said, "You're in here," but he's facing the wrong way.
Put his
Does it go over his
back? Yeah. Oh god, there's a Twitter account that tried to figure out the logistics of that. And proved that you could...
how to pee backwards?
If you could pee over your head, yeah. Or a guy could, I guess. And girls do not possess that level of power.
Not with that attitude.
Potentially you could, but it would not be a clean getaway.
Yeah.
Let's see about this one. The Sashi Pereira, a black
Okay.
A black teenager that is always pictured is wearing nothing but red shorts and a red pointed cap. He only has one leg that moves around by either hopping or with the hurricane he is able to create at his feet. This monster is aloof and not much of a danger to normal humans, instead choosing to just play pranks on travelers and people who live in rural areas Back in the ages of slavery in Brazil, Sachi was way more aggressive in his wrath against slave owners. Good boy, Sachi.
I like that he transports just like bees. He does it via little hurricane.
It's a based cryptid. I love it.
It is. The best. He is the
fair.
best boy.
I'll now go for the traditional Morgan Freeman, the boy Tata. The boy Tata is another forest protector, but much more ruthless than his human counterpart, depicted as a giant snake enshrouded in perpetual flame. This forest targets are also hunters, the people who cause forest fires. So that means anyone holding a gender reveal party.
You know,
Like,
the amount of destruction some of those have caused is like absolutely insane. It's a good day if it doesn't cause a fire.
I remember when it was like a forest fire a week being caused by those things.
I know. And we were all like, but how and why? And they're like, oh, well, we decided we were going to set off literally a bomb full of like blue glitter to prove we were having a boy. And we're like, could you have done nothing? Wow, it zoomed in really far for no reason.
There's literally been
just done anything
fatalities.
else.
Now they've gone to destroying the environment in other ways by polluting the ocean and robbing lakes of necessary water.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh, Nova added addendum. I forgot about the Saki. He can be trapped in a glass bottle, and stealing his cap supposedly allows you to ask him for any favor.
So he's like an alternate genie.
Yes.
as the legend goes, this serpent can morph into a tree in flames, the objective luring in its victims to burn them alive. Should that not work, the snake will temporarily go into a low flame and wrap itself around the victim, dragging them down to a river, so that they die of both drowning and burning at the same time.
That's pretty
If you want
hardcore.
directly putting the forest in danger, the White Tata has no reason to attack you. But still, looking at it might cause you to either go blind, mad, or both.
That's
Don't mess
amazing.
around.
No, he does not mess around. That snake is like, you better not. If you do, I'm gonna get you. See, that's better than a lot of places I saw where it was, I think actually one of the ones I did see for Brazil was just a dinosaur. And I was like, well, I mean, that's all well and good, but is that a cryptid or is that a dinosaur?
A fire snake that turns into a tree.
A fire snake that turns into a tree is pretty cool. Oh my god, this one came with a picture.
There's an interesting one here, which is an ape.
The dinosaur is the
The border
kuka?
type-
Okay, because the description did not look like this. Because it was just like, oh, it's like a brachiosaurus. Not this kick-ass thing you sent me. Nova's laughing now.
I must see.
I'm going to
Show me.
copy this image and place it in this conversation. Here you go.
And it told me.
This was the picture she sent.
Oh my god, I love it.
I do too! This is not what the description I saw stated. They were just like, yeah, they think it's a big lizard that lives in the jungle. And I'm like, oh, that's it? Okay. If it had been this would have been on the list for sure.
All right, so
Based.
I'm gonna do the boat.
Nova says Nova says Brazilian folklore goes from 0 to 100 so fast. You're
It probably
right.
started as just a lizard, but then somebody was like, no, we have to make it more interesting.
What if it was a hot lady also?
We need
though?
to make it attractive to tourists. We need to make it attractive to American tourists. Lipstick, blonde, red dress.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
We
Boto
need to
Ponderosa.
make it hot.
To be honest, I don't know why this is considered Brazilian folklore. It's clearly something made by unloyal women, but here it goes. But by day, this creature is a pink-colored dolphin, but by night, it turns into a beautiful and seductive man that goes to bars to find women whom he can impregnate. That's it.
Oh my god.
Cat dolphin.
Oh my god, it's a Selkie. But a pink dolphin man.
Zeus?
Zeus? Are you in Brazil? Get back in Greece where you belong, good sir.
I roam with... I shall roam with a nice see fit. Desperately trying to do the Cody Barton version of this expenses. Kratos. Yeah.
Brazilians. Nova's laughing. Brazilians, dude. Alright, let's hide that and get this all nice and cleaned up.
The Cuda is a female anthropomorphic alligator with some human-like mannerisms and appearances, namely the fact that she is a witch, tends to be depicted with beautiful flowing blonde hair and wearing extravagant dresses. She holds a thunderous, terrifying voice. And at night, she goes into the houses of children who don't behave and snatches them away to take them back into her lair. The fates of these children vary from who tells the story, from being cooked in a cauldron to stuck in a dungeon for the rest of your life. She is told to only sleep once every 7 years, wherein this is the only period where children are allowed to misbehave.
So is there like... King Grease says, wait for the Japanese Kratos. So I wonder, is that like... I wonder if there are people who keep that 7-year period on their calendar. Like if that's a holiday for some people. They're like, okay, today's the day you can misbehave. And you won't get eaten.
Yeah. Once when you're 7, once when you're 14, once when you're 21.
It's the children's version of the Purge. The Purge.
Oh my god.
It's the Brazilian children's version of the Purge. Here in America, we have Halloween. They have the Purge. Once every 7 years, the Purge. Nova says there absolutely are holidays about this. Yes! Oh, I love wacky holidays. There are so many, and I love it. I love stuff like this because it just shows what happens. Like how cool humans can be. Because we just kind of sat there and were like, you know what? What if we marked this day on the calendar? Why this day? 'Cause...
My description is basically just Jessica Rabbit, which...
But a gator.
Clearly she has like an art profession because she only sleeps once every 7 years.
That's why, see, that's why she looks, the people say she looks like an alligator. It's not because she actually looks like a gator. She's just really, really tired. The bags under her eyes are legendary.
Battle will be legendary. Sorry.
It's okay.
For some reason I went instantly into like Tai Lung.
Oh my god. That movie's great though. And
So
it has...
that is his name. Poe.
The Boi, Tata, and the Kuka are ones I feel would fit it so well in CRYPTOBER. I would love to see you draw the flaming serpent or the witch alligator. I'll definitely add that for next year for sure. Because those are cool things that I wish I'd been able to find. And that it wasn't just like, over here in Brazil, there's a Brachiosaurus in the swamp. And that's it. I'm like, no. They have a big snake, too.
You're saying that?
Is it on fire?
Brachiosaurus in Brazil ain't something that's actually fun.
I know. See, I'm going to blame...
I've heard of many Brachiosaurus.
I'm going to blame people collecting these legends as being people not from that area, so they just, like, catch the Cliff Note version and they're like, ah, gator. And you're like, oh, so that's it? It's just another big lizard? Yes. And then reality people in Brazil are like, no, you don't understand. It's not just a gator. It's not just a dinosaur. It's a snake that turns into a tree and catches on fire like all the time. And this isn't an alligator. It's a hot witch lady in a dress that looks like an alligator that eats naughty children. Like, if I'd read that, I'd have been like, well, hey, yeah, cool.
That's going on the list.
Going on the list, but no. Can't have nice things.
I just can't have nice things, people.
Nope.
Okay.
Boo. Big sad.
One second. I'm going to be Japanese Kratos.
Oh, you're gonna mimic Japanese Kratos.
No.
Slightly. I'm gonna do one thing and that's it.
We all sit here in bated breath hoping that we do not have to write apologies. I'm kidding. I know you wouldn't do that on purpose.
Odokonoko.
That was it?
Boy in Japanese. Yeah, that's boy in Japanese.
It's the word shonen is also boy in Japanese. And you used a different one and you said it so close to the microphone. There's more than one word.
But imagine that though. Imagine the poor Japanese actual voice actor who's like, okay, so you gotta make this word the gameplay that was designed for one single syllable. You gotta make it fit 4 syllables fit in there. So it's like
you say it really fast. We've had the same problem in early dubbing, and in some dubbing now too, is that there are instances where the script is not fast, although there are some where there is. Because let me tell you, sometimes in a comedy anime, the solution to funny is what if we said it really fast? We will now deliver a minute of exposition in 3 seconds. Better get ready. And then when, of course, it goes over the English dub and some words are now shorter and some are much longer, and some things that were just a concept now must be a sentence, and the poor dub artist is like, oh god, oh no, oh god, I can't.
And you don't... The help you get with that is minimal.
Yeah.
Is it apparently, say for example, maybe it's better these days because the technology allows for it.
Yeah, it seems like it is a lot
example,
easier nowadays, but yeah.
Say, for example, I'm Steve Bloom, I'm recording the booth, and I've got, line 17.
Mm-hmm.
And I go over time. I have to memorize that amount of time in my head, rather than them just replaying it.
Oh.
They don't automatically play it straight away, apparently. But hopefully that's changed the more things have advanced.
Mm-hmm. I know when watching, part of the creative process. Oh, Nova says, yeah, the best way to search those lists of X in a country is to find one that is in the language of that country and then translate it, because the international ones are always making it look less than it actually is. Yeah. Especially if it's written by an American. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We really like to be excited about our cryptids and then completely ignore everyone else's.
I mean, we do have a pretty sizable amount.
No, we do! But what I mean is that we're always like, look at our cool shit, and then whenever it's like, okay, do they have anything neat in Germany? No. Are you sure? Because I heard about the boob chicken. The boob chicken's pretty cool. Nah.
I mean, Germany really doesn't have that many interesting cryptids.
But they have some, is the point.
Sorry, we do not have time for mythology and folklore. It is just fictions.
We do not have time.
Does it contribute to the intelligence of our society? If not, then I don't want it anymore.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, but speculation and imagination, they are counterproductive.
We do not talk about the boob chicken.
We build trains and that's it.
We build trains and that's it.
By the way, Mike, you can help me out with something here.
Greed says, no, it hasn't. Wunderbar.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
So, yeah, what was I going to say? Apparently a German word that means I don't have to worry about this because someone else is taking care of it. What is that word?
They have so many words for, entire concepts. And I don't know what word it is. I know they've got one for, the feeling that you forgot something, even though you're pretty sure you didn't, but you can't shake it. There is a word for that. There's also a word for feeling, Schadenfreude, but in specific circumstances.
Schadenfreude, I remember.
Yeah. there's like a more
That
expansive word where it's like Schadenfreude towards something really specific. There's a word for that. I was like,
yeah,
well,
and
right.
Schadenfreude, if I recall correctly, is the feeling of laughing at the pain of others.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there's a word. There's a word
not
more specific.
necessarily laughing, just pleasure. It's
getting
like
pleasure in the
happy.
suffering of others. Yeah, and there's like another word that is describing a certain type of Schadenfreude, where it's like
I feel like that's gonna be the name of a BD. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say it's something like getting joy from the pain of others, specifically somebody who has wronged you in the past, or something like that. They've also got a word for like a person who needs a swift punch in the face.
Tom Cruise.
That is Tom Cruise. My German accent is atrocious. I'm so sorry.
Don't worry, everybody's is. There's bound to be like the only people with good German accents are Germans.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. Some of them don't have very good accents either.
Well, from what I understand from people who have watched my channel and stuff who are German, they've told me before, they're like, on the whole, nobody in Germany is going to be mad at you if your accent is bad or you can't say the word right. They'll be very kind and polite and be like, it's said like this. Don't even worry. And I was like, okay.
Yeah,
they're very nice.
I feel like somewhere out there has to be like a BDSM club. It's just called Club Schadenfreude.
If there's not, there is now. Somebody heard that and went, oh, yes.
It's bad.
Yes. It's a club. It's a club for sadists called Schadenfreude.
But yeah, I'm trying to figure out what the German word is for not having to worry about something because you know that somebody else's job is taken.
I think if you Google it, you might find out. Because I don't know that one.
German word meaning I don't have to worry about this.
King Greed says must thing.
Hakuna Matata?
Hakuna Matata!
Hakuna Matata!
What a wonderful phrase.
What a wunderbar phrase.
Yes!
Oh, maybe I'll find it here. This is a list of Merriam-Webster German words without translation. Schadenfreude is listed here.
Oh, excellent. I'm sure that people have heard in video, probably in other videos, me and Mike goofing around speaking non-German. It's just words that sound like they might be German, but they are definitely not. They're just nonsense.
How have I not realized in all this time the word doppelganger is German?
Yes! I also know the difference between the word doppelganger and dead ringer. They are actually two separate concepts, and one of them is dangerous. The doppelganger is just a person that looks like you. A dead ringer is another you, and should you come into contact with them, it will end very poorly.
Oh.
The two words are often confused, but one of them is actually supernatural. The other one is not. Why do I want to draw this thing holding like a little purse? I don't know why, but I was like, it would look so cute with like a little handbag. What do you?
Mike, you're gonna enjoy this one. So, I've got this one here, which is talking about like German words that express a concept that's not found in English. There's things like Die Angst. In German, this word denotes any kind of fear, but in English is used to designate gloomy, often neurotic feelings. And then you got Die Bratwurst, which just goes,
I love it.
You know what's funny, Nova, is that even though we don't look alike because she's a cat and I am not, the part about like owners and pets sort of starting to resemble each other is not a lie. Because cats and dogs pick up on your habits. Ugh, my connection's being a butt again. There it goes. Now it's back. Stupid thing. But cats and dogs pick up on the traits of their owners and mimic them sometimes. It is beyond true, shouts Nova. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Gemütlich. These terms indicate a cozy sense of well-being in a comfortable environment. For example, relaxing alone or with friends, perhaps over a drink or two after a hard day's work. General description of the Germans will usually list Gemütlichkeit as one of the highest priorities of every German.
Nice.
By the way, if I'm butchering the German language, by the way, Mike.
He said he asked let him know if he's butchering any of the things he said.
No.
Like I said before, from what I oh, sorry, go ahead.
I just gonna mention that I didn't know this one. Apparently, a meaning for broken is kaputt.
Yes, I've heard that. Is kaputt.
Yes.
I used to use that word a lot when I was little. My parents would. They're like, oh, it's kaput.
Yeah. Every so often I would say it's kaputski.
Yep. My mom and dad have both said kaputski also.
This is one definitely for you, Alex. Refers to tacky, gaudy art or trinkets. Kitsch.
I have heard of kitsch.
You can use for that one.
Yeah, have heard of kitsch. There's actually an entire kind of art that is specifically supposed to be kitsch. And it is called kitsch art.
Ooh.
Creative.
I hope this one is not in Google Translate anywhere. Lebensraum, specifically a Nazi term for living space.
Huh. I don't know why they needed a whole new word for that.
Let's see the specifics. Additional territory supposedly needed for Germans to live in.
Oh, they're like, oh, we're not conquering, we're just getting new living space.
Oh, I've heard that one before.
Yeah, I've heard that fairly recently. Elon Musk.
Oh, with Mars.
No, him being a shit about Ukraine. I'm not going to talk about it here. Look it up. He is shit the proverbial bed. He's also saying he's going to buy Twitter again. I think that is not going to happen even if he tries, because the last time he attempted to, he defaulted on the agreement, broke all of the non-disclosure they had, and almost sunk his company. We're not destroying, we're just redecorating, says Nova. Yes, basically.
So much German in our language, like granola-esque breakfast item by health-conscious Germans. That's muesli.
I did not know that the word granola was from Germany. That's cool.
A rucksack as well.
Ah. For some reason now I have quotes from that one video that I don't remember if I showed you or you showed me. I don't know who showed who, Mikey, where it was like a bunch of languages all comparing. It was like English and French and like Brazilian and then German. And the German word was always like really out there by comparison. Yes. And I've specifically got butterfly, Schmetterling, hospital, Krankenhaus, ambulance, Krankenwagen. And he says it so dramatically, and he just pops up from behind everyone else, too. He just, like... Oh, King Gree says, Schneewittchen. And I don't know what that means.
Schneewittchen.
Schneewittchen.
You guys don't have W's.
It's funny, the W was just two V's, so it's like a soft V. V. Which is why Weiss is Weiss. For Pitt's sake.
Kümmerschwick, which is grief bacon.
Oh, that means Snow White, says King Green. That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure.
Weißschnee, yeah.
Yeah, Snow White. Nova also says, no, German boy, don't go into the weed cave. Mein Gott, and cave full of blunt smoking. My German ancestors are looking down on me with severe disapproval.
My Irish ancestors are looking upon me with...
Yeah, they're my ancestors are conflicted. The benefit of being an American, some of my ancestors are pleased, some of them are not.
When a relationship ends, or during other times of sadness, anger, or worry, it's common to put on a few pounds of Kümmerschweck. What it means is the excess weight put on by emotional overeating. So when you find yourself on the couch watching Bridget Jones's diary with a tub of ice cream, you're in fact feeding your grief bacon.
It's my sadness fact. There's a sad blotten.
This one's a Lebensmüde, which is life tired.
Oh my god, me too, all the time. I feel like that is the defining phrase for the entirety of our generation, and probably the one behind us. Is like, fuck, man, I'm just...
generation.
We're just always
Gen Lebensmüde.
Yeah. You tired?
Oh god.
Yes.
Weltschmerz. World pain.
World pain. That too. I feel that many of us are like, I hope that nobody who's actually German is listening to this and getting mad at us. I promise I'm not trying to make fun of
They're
you guys.
used to it.
No!
This is a very good one. This is Backpfeifen Scheißkriegt. I think. No, that's not right at all. Backpfeifen Schicht, which is slap face.
Oh, a person with a face that should be slapped. Yes, that's that one.
Yeah.
Oh, King Greed says, I am from Austria. He does not seem to be offended. I think that we have been given permission to continue with whatever madness we are doing.
Yeah. Erklärungsschmott, which is explanation poverty.
Explanation.
Oh, that's an interesting one.
Huh. Like being...
is a state shared by cheating spouses, lying politicians, and school children without their homework and life.
Oh.
It's what you find yourself in when put on the spot without a sufficient explanation or excuse for something you've done or failed to do. Most often used in the form of, okay. So basically means when you are caught out in a lie and you don't have a proper explanation.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's a good word.
That's a good word. We need to adopt that.
What the fuck? Drekeschok. 3 cheeses high.
3 cheeses high? Like 3 wheels of cheese?
This sounds like it would make a great name for pizza. However, what he describes as a person who is vertically challenged, flying their only as tall as 3 wheels placed on top of each other.
Oh, it means tiny small man. And King Greed also says no, he is not offended. I love it when other people speak German. It's probably like every time I hear a non-native American speaker speak, American, yeah, English speaker speak English, and some part of me is just delighted by it, and I do not know why. It's not even like, you sound silly. It's just like, oh my goodness, I'm so tickled by this. This is so good. Like every time. I personally
like it when foreigners try to speak American, which is they try to sound like Boomhauer.
Yeah, that always seems to happen. Is anytime someone's like, "Oh, can you mimic an American?" They're like, "I am Hank Hill now."
Whoa!
Whoa!
Hello. Hi. Good to meet you. Like good American. Howdy.
Oh my god, it's true too. Honestly, like. It's funny to me because a lot of non-English speakers will say, at least for Americans, I don't know if this is the case for people in England, but like here in the US, they say phrases that we actually don't say very much. Like we don't actually say howdy very much.
We don't.
But it's associated with us.
I know.
So.
And don't worry, Nova, your English sounds just fine. It sounds great. And like with all of my other friends who have accents, I think the accent is adorable. Because I'm a weirdo. That's because you have an American accent. It's because you have an American accent. I wouldn't hear it.
Are cute? Jesus.
No, it's just I can't hear an American accent because I'm American. It doesn't sound like an accent to me.
Oh, I hear an American accent.
Well, that's because you've lived in other places. I've only ever lived here.
You saying that I got an American accent? Like, I don't really think that's
the closest I've gotten to hearing another American accent is that when I was young, when people would speak to me with a southern accent, I would begin to mimic it, and I didn't mean to. It just happened.
You can
Oh,
always
you did
notice
that
an American.
too. When I was a kid, I did that as well. Like I just naturally would fall into a southern accent.
Bad too, because I was like, oh, I hope they don't think I'm making fun of them.
My dad would do that when he was talking on the phone with his sister-in-law. Like, she had this very sort of accent along the lines of this. I think it was Georgia or something like that. I was going like, why, man? And like, he would, on the phone, would start mimicking that subconsciously.
You know, when you talk, like this, actually, this used to happen with Chloe, is that when you talk about somebody from your country, your accent starts coming out. Like, when you talk about your dad, your accent starts coming out more. Just like anytime Chloe talked about her grandma in Australia, her Australian accent came out.
That's weird. I remember you guys and how you first reacted when you heard me say the word water.
Yeah, every American went, "What'd you say?"
Water. Because we don't say it with a hard T. We say it with a soft.
Yeah, we say with a
T.
soft T that
Water.
sounds like a D. Water.
We say water.
Yeah.
And the time that you can hear American accents the most is when English people are trying to do them.
I'm an American fighter pilot.
Oh, Pastor
Hi
says
there.
now I want
I'm
to
an
try
American
that, the
fighter
accent
pilot.
thing.
I'd like to eat a hamburger.
I remember that scene from Critical Role. I know I see you, Sam Riegel.
But he nailed it. It's exactly like it's this weird like hesitation before each word because the person's concentrating on how it's pronounced.
Exactly.
It just
Thing that
sounds
you see
really
so often,
stilted.
like, you hear it with Idris Elba, you hear it with Benedict Cumberbatch. It's always like that sort of like, okay, we need to go ahead and focus on the American accent here. Hi there, pleasure to meet you. So I'm an American fighter pilot. Come over here, get a good hamburger. Are you guys have that in Germany? Pleasure to finally meet you.
See,
That kind of thing.
that's also a thing that, like, most of the time, I feel like people don't really need to worry about their accents that much because, honestly, we don't notice. Like, it took me forever to realize the Vulcan who reads SCP stuff. I didn't realize he was Irish.
The thing that you can notice the most is just the concentration. Like, a good example of this is Black Panther. You can see, because I just got it in my head because the trailer said, but Chadwick Boseman, you can tell he's focusing on the accent. Lupita Nyong'o, you can tell that she has it sort of naturally in there. She's got it incorporated. She doesn't have to think about it. She can just do it, and that's why it comes out more naturally. With him, you can tell he's concentrating on something all the time, so it's a little bit more stilted.
Oh, if you look in the Twitch stream, King Greed has put a link to a German voice actor. If you would like to see
this better be Robin Ackner Downs as the medic.
Oh my goodness. This one is like so much quicker than the other day, or maybe I'm just getting faster because I'm doing this every day, but this little dude's almost done and we're only an hour and 13 minutes into 2 hours. He might be fully complete by the time my allotted space is up.
Damn, that dude goes hardcore. Yeah. Oh, before I forget, if I ever have a dwarf character, I'm going to name Hawk because for 3 cheeses high.
Yee! Kind of thinking about sending a Brazilian one because the disparity is so funny. Hey, go for it if you want to. If you've got a link to that, you can link it.
Yeah. If you want to... Do Brazilians speak Spanish or Portuguese?
I think it depends on where. Brazilians speak Spanish, right? I used to know this. I used to know the answer to this question easily, and now my brain's like, I don't know anything about Portuguese. Okay, see? Totally wrong. My brain's like, I know nothing.
Okay.
Doesn't depend on where no one speaks Spanish. Okay, thank you. I'm so ignorant.
I love this. I love how fucking petty this thing is because it's fucking convenient. But right. So, Schattenpacker with Shadow Parker. This world is part of a series of insults from men. Sorry, this word is a part of a series of insults from men which accuse them of unmanly behavior. In this case, of parking their car in the shadow to avoid heating up the interior. These kinds of derogatory terms were some of the memes some years back, and whole lists of them exist on the internet. Alternatives include warm to someone who showers with warm water, sits pinkler, a man who urinates while sitting down, Tin booted Vegasia. Someone who used to forget their gym bag in cardio class.
Mikey, you can never park your car in the shade. Too bad, only women can do that. We have the power and you don't.
What are you talking about?
What David just said is that there's an insult for guys in German that is a person who parks their car in the shade. And I said, see, Mike, you can't park your car in the shade. Only women can do that. We are the only ones with the power.
But that's man, you are Frau, if you do this.
Who cares? That's only an insult if you think being a woman is a bad thing.
Right?
The German word for who cares is just who cares. Alright, but honestly, the best German accent ever does belong to Robin Atkin Downs as the medic.
Also, Nova has put in the chat. Sorry. I'm trying to type something at the same time. There we go. She says, since Brasilia has a limited range of VAs, a lot of characters share VAs leading to coincidences such as these. And then there is a link to a YouTube video, which I assume is probably a case of an actor acting against themselves. Which we've had happen a couple of times in stuff we've been watching, haven't we? Like, it's usually Steve Bloom, though. We have seen Steve Bloom acting against himself. It happens all the time in Rebels. Because not only is he a main character, he's also, like, a handful of stormtroopers and most of the officers.
Yeah. Like, shows are, like, for some reason, shows with CGI have very limited acting budgets, so we just get, like, about a half a dozen actors, and that's all they have. Case in point, Sonic Boom.
I'll definitely check both of those videos out when the stream's over. Because they sound really cool.
Particularly for TV, because CG is costly, right? And doing CG for a regularly syndicated television show is
King Greed says,
really costly.
I'm gonna say this so wrong, and I am so sorry. When interested das, which means who cares.
When interested das.
It's probably like who has interest. Is what my brain tries to say it as.
Sorry, no.
Which, given the translation, is probably not too far off. I don't know why, but I like when I learn when I'm actually bothering to learn things on Duolingo. Oh, you've got a link too? Awesome.
Yeah, this one is like medic outtakes.
Nice. When I actually learn things on Duolingo, I try to like pick apart like how the vernacular is working, like how in Japanese a lot of like the sentence structure is somewhat in reverse from how we speak in English. Or like how certain words break down where it's like not as simple as like no, even though it's translating to no. Like, for example, Japanese, and Kiki told me some more about it when I asked her if there was specifically a word for no, and she's like, well, there's like 3 different ways to say no, but they're not like saying no in English. There's no as in I don't want that, and no where you're very clearly lying. Like, did you finish your homework? No. Or like, yeah.
Yeah. It's like we got nope, we got no, we got nope.
Yeah, but they all mean the same thing. They're negative.
Kind of. Like you got yes, you got yeah.
Yeah.
It just depends on like the mood you're in. So like,
yeah.
Yep.
Now, what's interesting about some other languages, like for example Irish, because that's the other language I was learning, it does not have a word for no. There is only applying negative to what you said. So if you said something like, I'd like a glass of water, the negative wouldn't be... Oh, sorry, if somebody said, do you want a glass of water? You responded with I want a glass of water. The negative wouldn't be no, it would be, I do not want a glass of water. There's no simple...
No, we just have feck off.
I mean, I guess you could shake your head. But I thought that was interesting when I was learning it. Is like, there's not a word for no, is there? And there's not. You just apply negative to what you said. I was like, ooh, how fascinating. That's why it's always amusing, too. Like, the things other people pick up on. Like how Kiki doesn't like the delivery for Overwatch. She's mentioned it on some of the streams before. The way that Genji and... oh, I forgot Genji's brother's name. Hanzo. Thank you. Hanzo. That she doesn't like the words and inflection used for their ults because it sounds weird.
Yeah. Which is funny because Genji
is Japanese.
Actor.
Well, which just says to me that he just read the line as they gave it to him, because obviously he didn't write it. But it just means he was like, fuck it, they don't know. Who cares? Nova says, what makes me so mad about Portuguese is that every adjective and noun is gendered. I want to know who sat down and decided what gender the table was. like, who did that?
It is not la egg, it is la egg. Yeah, it's the same thing with like Spanish, French.
This bookcase is a woman.
All the Latin languages are like that, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, okay,
German is but to a lesser extent.
Yeah.
English doesn't really gender nouns or adjectives very much. There are a few instances of it, but not too many.
Yeah, not too many.
Concepts are gendered, but words.
Yeah, usually if we apply a gender to an object, it's something like how some people refer to their cars as a she, where we've made a conscious decision to do that, as opposed to that just being part of the language.
Yeah, but the word car isn't gendered.
Yeah, and the word car is not like, if you say the word car, it means that the car is a guy.
Yeah.
Car is man. It's like, no, car is a car.
Yeah. Unless it's a Hummer, because we gender that as a guy because it's penis compensation.
True. I will not deny that. That is absolutely accurate.
Oh my god, that just reminds me of the first stream yesterday. Well, it wasn't a stream, it was a recording yesterday. I was talking about how I was glad there's a smooth function on the computer. And I'll say it briefly, because obviously if you're watching this in post, you've seen the other one, probably. And if you haven't, go watch it. It has a horse in it. Where I was talking about how I like that there's smoothing on here because my hand shakes. And Mike was like, oh, you need a devibrator. And he said it with such confidence that there was a solid several seconds where I was like, wait, is that a thing? And I just don't know. And it got real quiet and awkward. And I'm like, yeah, that's not a thing, right? And he's like, no, it's not a thing. I'm like, okay. Because for a minute there, you had me.
I mean, technically there is. That's just called a shock absorber.
Yeah, but like putting that on your hand isn't going to make your hand stop like shaking.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I mean, unless you're trying to reverse the polarity. Oh, King Greed says many German people want to gender stuff. It's horrible.
Or is it saying, or is he saying that many horrible words are being gendered? Is it horrible that they're gendering words, or is it that they're gendering horrible words?
You know, I feel like both of those things are equally bad. Let's apply gender to the word fuck. Let's not. Let's not. This fuck is a lady and shit is a man. Word.
The horrible words.
People want to gender words in general.
Oh, words in general. Okay.
Yes. Words specifically.
I don't know if it's a matter of want. I mean, doesn't German naturally like gender some words?
I
think
don't
what
know.
I think what he's referring to is like sort of like the right wing in Germany, because that's on the rise at the moment.
Mm.
So I'm guessing they, sort of like being transphobic, they want.
Oh, my message got
words,
censored.
so
I wanted to
you
talk
might
about the
lose it.
gendered cuss. Oh, that might be one of the words that I have way back when I thought of like words that I wouldn't want people to be able to say in chat. It's the word that begins with the F, isn't it?
Oh,
The FA word. I have automatic
New
censoring for well no
New Vegas.
no. It is the F word indeed, yes. Nova wanted to talk about how people try to gender that, talk about the gendered cuss. Not F-A, F-U. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I have fuck censored on here, and I don't know why. Do I have a list of words? Can I change that, like, right now?
how un-American of you, Alex.
I know. I will figure that out, because I changed that. I did that when I first set it up, and I'm like, I need to make sure that it is a nice, wholesome chat. And then I just started dropping F-bombs, so it really doesn't matter. Yeah. So I need to, like, go find that again.
You saw all the women that are currently in bathtubs. Good, wholesome content.
Aren't they in kiddie pools? Isn't kiddie pools the weird thing?
Yeah. They're in pools or like jacuzzis, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I see.
Let's go ahead and see.
Oh, so you can't type
Who's
the
most popular
word.
at the moment? Right.
Okay. Well, I'll fix that, Nova.
Oh, here we go. Amaranth, pools, hot tubs.
Participating in this chat while in a bathtub is also illegal. Make sure you're completely covered when you are typing in here.
I won't be held responsible for your electrocution.
Oh my god. Actually, you know what? That's a good point. You probably shouldn't be in a bathtub while typing in here, because if you drop your phone or your laptop in the water, you'll either break it forever or you'll get zapped, and that won't be good.
What if you have a waterproof keyboard? Oh my god, this is literally streaming from an actual swimming pool. And the fun thing is like 1,000, there's over 2,000 people in here right now, and she isn't even on camera.
Let me see. Oh, the playlist stopped. Let me find another one. Oh, here we go. I like this place. They have spooky lo-fi. All lo-fi. No, excuse me. I like these lo-fi channels because they don't play things that can get me flagged. And then I can have some nice background music, so if I stop talking for a period of time, you don't just hear, like, the background hiss of my microphone into oblivion. On the topic of spooky stuff, did you hear Ivy Combs' Cult of the Lamb song? I have not. I need to look that up.
Oh my fuck. I'm taking a look at the
Mikey.
I want to see just how bad.
Mike says he'll be right back.
What's going on?
He went to, I think he probably went to go grab dinner. He just said BRB.
I just wanted to be, I was interested because, okay. I've never looked to see how bad it is on Twitch, and I'm looking at like Browless just chatting, and it's like live Browless cooking.
I hope she's still got a shirt on, or she's gonna be off of Twitch real quick.
She still has a shirt on. Oh, I got to see. Thank you, I didn't know. Mommy? No, he's ready. Okay, yeah, this is as bad as some people describe it.
Oh my god.
And some of this stuff is just reaction. Okay. Live react. What the hell am I looking at here?
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure I can't show it on my stream from the sound of things. They probably only get away with it because they make a lot of money. Well, if you make a lot of money, Twitch will look the other way. Oh, King Greed says the problem is, for example, if a white man has dreadlocks, white people criticize it. Oh, I see. Yeah, there's...
I'll be back in a second.
Sure. On the topic of that, because I had that debate with people before, trying to gender or to like racially lock a hairstyle seems really bizarre to me. Especially since I'm pretty sure that at one point or another, every people on this planet have done things like that. For example, many Gaelic cultures did stuff to their hair that would be the equivalent of dreadlocks. The difference is because the structure of Caucasian hair is different from that of like a person of African descent, because our hair is thinner, is that we have to cover it with wax, because if we don't, water gets inside and it gets really gross. But other than that, it's basically identical, and that's something that our ancestors did in many places. Same thing with like, oh, you can't adorn your feathers in your hair, or you can't dye your hair. That's happened all over the place. The Vikings dyed their hair with lye. They blonded themselves for hygiene's sake. So telling anybody like, oh, you can't wear that, you're from X location, when it's just hair, seems absurd to me. I mean, obviously there are certain things like, you know, a headdress that has significance to a culture. You shouldn't wear that if you're not that. But if it's just like, oh, you can't braid your hair. What are you talking about, can't braid your hair? You can't put a clip with a feather on it in your hair. Yes, you can. What are you talking about? It's just hair. Everybody, every race of people has hair. Using this hairstyle is racist, so we're going to racially divide it in a way so that only people of this race get to use it. Yes, and then we'll make fun of those people. It is backwards thinking at its finest. It's really dumb. It's like there's also this thing too where it's like certain things are racist, but not because of like the actual action itself. Like, for example, there was a little a debate that hung around for quite some time online before, that was people saying that getting a tan was racist. Now, one thing they said in that debate was true, and that is that people with naturally dark skin get a lot of crap from people with lighter skin. And that was racist. And the answer to that is, yes, it is. But tanning isn't. Like, for example, if you made it a rule that people who were Caucasian could not tan, it would have no effect whatsoever on whether or not they insulted the skin type of somebody who wasn't Caucasian. They would still do it, because it's not about the tanning salon. It's about people being racist and finding reasons to be racist. And that's what you have to deal with. It's like when that woman tried to say that the air conditioner being cold in the office was sexist. That isn't sexist. People refusing to listen to you when you say you're cold because you're a woman is sexist. And a fashion industry that refuses to make you warm clothing because it's more important that you look like an object to be desired is sexist. But an air conditioner isn't. And even if you got that air conditioner changed tomorrow, it wouldn't change the underlying issue. It's a band-aid for a bullet wound. Of course, it's probably easier to pick and prod and be mad at things that seem like they're quick and easy fixes as opposed to the root problem, which is much harder to take care of. So I understand why it's tempting to do that, but I don't know. You gotta, like, think about it. I woke up today and chose to spit facts. I did. My attempt at perfection was ruined by having a cavity for the first time ever and having to get rid of it. And I said, by God, I shan't be wrong about anything else today. And then was immediately wrong about what language they speak in Brazil. So, you know. I tried to talk all big and shot myself in the foot. But yeah. Finding the the root of the problem for something like racism, sexism, and, homophobia, things like that, is not as simple as just saying, well, these people should not do this anymore. Like the difference between cultural diffusion or cultural appropriation. Appropriation is when you took something that did not belong to you. Diffusion is what happens when two cultures meet and get intrigued by certain aspects, aesthetic aspects of each other's culture. Which eventually, in some places, actually turned into culture of its own. Like any of the large trading towns that were always, like, on the border between two other major powers that wanted to trade amongst themselves. Like, let's say, a country like India and France. Towns in between the two of them that were major trading hubs, their cultures often bled together, those two other cultures, and subsumed parts of it and made a whole unique culture that's like got chunks of Indian culture and chunks of French culture and chunks of things in between. Just so cool. That's why you end up with so many nice cultural hubs here in the United States as well. Though some of them didn't start out that way, but like New York is one of them. There's a lot of great places in New York where there's all different cultures overlapping one another. And then there are other places in the US that are not, because we can't have nice things. We can only be disappointing. Oh well. One thing at a time, right? Every day, wake up and choose to be a nice person that won't be bad to other people, who will help other people who are having their lives suck, and tell other people making their lives suck to knock it the fuck off. And bit by bit, we will chip away the thing. Nova says, I really want to go to NYC sometime. It's not a bad city. I would definitely say that if you're going to go to New York for a trip, look up places you want to go first. Because if you just plop yourself in the center of the city and then try to find something, I feel like it's very easy to be overwhelmed there. Although that may just be because I have a hell of a time reading subway charts. That's why I'm so glad that New York has a subway app. Whenever I'm able to move there, because I still want to, I will rely so heavily on that app, because if you're like, oh, take this train to this train to this train and then this stop, but make sure it's like this one, but not this other one, because that one will only stop at some stops, and this one will stop at all the stops, but this one's express and only goes here, and I'll just be sitting there with a pen and paper trembling in my hands going, I don't know where it's supposed to go. I did go on the subway all by myself a few years ago, though, to go to a convention. I went to my friend's house, and she was going to go too, but she had work that day. And I was like, oh, well, then I'll just wait for you to get off of work. And she goes, oh, I don't want to, that's going to be a while. I don't want to keep you from going to the convention. I'm like, well, it's okay. I don't know how to subway anyway. And she's like, I will write instructions for you. And I just sat there clinging to that paper the whole ride. I was like, okay. Stare out the window. I need to get off on 42 Street. Looking at the paper, looking at the wall. This is 56. We're almost there. It's 42. Okay. And if it goes past that, we'll just get out and we'll walk until we see 32. And then I got to go up the steepest elevator I've ever been on in my life. Oh my god. It's right outside one of the big convention centers in New York. That subway stop, it's a new one too, because it wasn't there until only a couple of years back. The escalator to get out is so, it's super long, but it's also insanely steep. Like on the way down, standing upright and knowing I'm standing upright, I feel like I need to lean backwards or I'm gonna fall. So, everyone on the escalator is leaning funny. Nova says, I have 3 places I would like to see. Times Square, Central Park, and the Statue of Liberty. And the rest I am mostly fine with just exploring, seeing the smaller, oft overlooked businesses that few tourists pay mind to because they're not world famous. This is true. Oh, excuse me. Doing that is also good. I've been to all 3 of those places. Times Square is interesting. Like, I feel like it probably only looks super impressive when there's something going on there. Most of the time it's just like a big intersection with a whole bunch of billboards and ads and things. Which is fine, but you know. The Statue of Liberty is good. I don't think you can go inside of her anymore because you used to be able to like climb up and take a peek. Hello. Take a peek out of the viewing platform. I don't think you can anymore. But you can stand in front of the statue and take pictures though. And the boat ride is fun. Nova's talking about places that she'd like to see in New York. Central Park is really nice. It's very big. I think there's a zoo there also.
Any pizza place whatsoever.
Oh, New York pizza's awesome. Oh my god, that reminded me. I had an American offense moment the other day. I was watching the new season of the Great British Baking Show because that's like such a chill show. Unlike, you know, any cooking competition in like the US where we have to be horrid people to each other for some reason.
You fucking donkey.
Spirit of competition, we are not. But for Bread Week, one of the first things they did is they made pizza. And when they were having their pizza be judged, Paul scolded one of the people, telling him that his pizza was too thick. It was like American pizza. It's too thick. And the American in me went, "Hey, hold on a minute. The pizza is supposed to have a thick crust. It's like a breadstick. It's the best part. What are you talking about?"
So pizza is a fucking quiche.
Oh my god. I feel ways about quiche. It depends on what it is.
But
there's a lot of good places to check out there, though.
There's this guy got like just a regular job for a while, and then all of a sudden started making pizza at like this place in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And for some, it's just like incredibly good at making pizza, like people like Beyonce and all that kind of thing to show up to work at his pizza shop.
Mm-hmm.
And this YouTube guy, not really a YouTuber, but you know, someone who's more in depth with technology. Like this guy is just very old school. The pizza maker.
Mm-hmm.
He gets this guy. He's like, "I want to take you 4 places, you know, that have different sort of themes of pizza and see what you think." And he's just like, "This is pizza." And he's like, "So what do you think of the Chicago thing to pizza?" And he's just like, "It's not pizza, it's a quiche."
It's not pizza, it's a quiche. Nova says, "My favorite way to piss off an American is call them a United Statesian because they aren't supposed to have a monopoly on the continent's name." You can't have a monopoly on an entire continent. America, watch me. United States. United Statesian is so good. Please continue to do that. Please continue to do that. And then when they get mad, be like, "You know there are other people who live in America, right? And not the United States, like Canada, Mexico. The entire continent of South America. You're on North America, my guy.
You're not. There's a lot of Americans out there, bro.
Yeah. But only one US of A. No. Even down here, we're South American, says Nova. Exactly. Oh gosh, another instance I just remembered where the American in me got all huffy at the Great British Baking Show. It was a couple of seasons ago, and there was this lady who liked making spooky themed things for her bakes, and at one point they were doing pies, and she's like, "I'm gonna make a pumpkin pie," and I was like, "Yay, pumpkin pie!" And then partway through she's like, pumpkin pie's awful. And I'm like, what? And she goes, I don't know why Americans like it. It's terrible. And I went, hey now. Hey. Pumpkin pie's really good. And what do you mean, Americans? Don't other people eat pumpkin pie? I guess maybe not. Maybe they don't.
Okay, I found the thing I was looking for. So it's a YouTube show from Thrillist called Really Dope. And it was a Chicago deep dish. I'm he called it casserole.
Casseroles are interesting. They're like giant hot pockets.
Yeah, so I sent you a little thing of that. It's just interesting seeing this dude who's like, very tech savvy, mid-20s, up against this guy who's like middle-aged and definitely in two different worlds here. But the dude is very good at making pizza.
That's good. I'm glad that dude's making a good living off of that. It's not as easy as it sounds. Oh, by the way.
Really?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You first.
Finish your thought. Because yours is probably still about the show. Mine is a different topic.
I was just going to say, like, is used like a traditional wood oven and things like that. But yeah, that was basically it.
What I was gonna say was, because it's a totally different topic, I have a show to recommend. I've watched its first, I guess it's season 0 now, because its first season is on Netflix, because it got like an actual big old contract with them. If you like cute things with like lo-fi soundtracks, but they're also really weird, I recommend Bee and Puppy Cat. Because they've got a show on Netflix now. If you've seen the episodes that used to be on Frederator or on, later posted on YouTube, which I believe you can still go watch, and I recommend that you do, because they're also good. The first few episodes of season 1 are like mini condensed versions of some of those. Like they make references to a lot of them where they go quickly through some of the stuff that happens in those episodes. And I'd say that these are a bit more plot heavy than that would be. So. Oh, goodness. Yawning. Whew. So I would recommend that to anybody who likes that sort of thing. But yeah. And that's all I had to say about that.
Also, I'm trying to get to lo-fi stuff. Like, I need to remember to have, like, I have this weird thing, like, some music will help me get into a zone after I listen to it for too long. It just, background noise doesn't do a thing. But, yeah, I need to figure out how to get myself back into concentration.
Yeah, well, one of the things about, there's actually a lot of good advice for people who have trouble paying attention, especially people with AD and ADHD. There's good rules of thumb. One of those things, oh goodness, is to make it work for you. And like you said, that's figuring out what it is your brain keeps trying to do instead of working. Because your brain can only focus on something for so long if it's not interested in it. And the problem with ADHD is that your brain is starved of the dopamine caused by things that are interesting, which is why it's so easy to like, if you get, yeah, ADHD gang, says Nova, which is why when we find a hyperfixation we really like, just go for it for hours. Oh, did I turn off shape dynamics? Can we put that on, please? Put on the shape dynamics. Hello? There we go. Jeez. Can't color it if I can't do that. But like, figure out what, how long you can stand to pay attention to things that you don't find interesting. Ferb says, am I too late for the cryptid hour? Nope, we got about 10 minutes left. So you have not arrived when it's over. You have arrived just in time. Didn't have one yesterday because I had a lot of meetings and so I was not able to do it. Yeah, cutting it close. But you're here in time for to watch me color this little dude. I'll be shading it off stream. But we're doing the Flatwoods monster that David read a nice dramatic a nice dramatic description of it from before. It's a cryptid who's extraterrestrial in origin. A bunch of people saw a meteor crash in the woods, and they ran out to check it out. They flashed their flashlight in what they thought was the direction. They saw something that looked like a 10-foot tall creature in this awesome... Yeah, it'll be saved up here as well. I believe that it archives it for a few days, but it'll be up on YouTube tomorrow, along with the Kelpie one, because the Kelpie one is going up a little bit late, but can't do nothing about that. No big deal. It also is supposed to make a really bad smell that makes people sick. So we have big billowy fart gas coming out from under its robe. It's supposed to yeah, stinking cloud. It's supposed to have a stinky space gas. It's supposed to it hisses. It's got metallic claws. Yep, the spooky dookie. We joked that what really happened was that these kids saw, because scientists are like, oh, there's probably a screech owl in a tree. And we were like, so the stink was that one of them pooped their pants when they ran away from a screech owl. And that is the stink.
Pretty much.
That's the big stank. The space stink.
It left a gelatinous discharge, apparently.
It did. It left a pile of goo on the ground, supposedly. And I was like, I think that might be the space, that might be the dookie. The spooky duke. So that's where we are. And then we poked fun at accents for like forever.
Yes.
And read a bunch of German words.
Yeah. Shout out.
Yes. And then, right before you came, I was talking about how I had 2 moments of being an offended American while watching Great British Bake Off. Because one person got scolded for having pizza crust that was too thick, like American pizza. And I went, hey. And then another person who talked about how she didn't understand why Americans like pumpkin pie because it's terrible. And I went, hey. Because I like pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie is really good.
Here's a good question for Alex. What are the characteristics of perfect pizza?
Oh, that'll have to be unique to me. So the characteristics of a perfect pizza, in my eyes, is one that has a crisp base, like it's not become soggy because there's too much on it. I prefer a sweeter sauce, a sweeter marinara, without basil in it. I don't like basil all that much. Let's see. A good layer of cheese on it. I think a thinner slice overall with a nice thick, crust that you can hold on to. Ferb likes the sauce with the basil in it. Unfortunately, I'm not a fan of basil anymore. Cliff Notes version, I had a former friend who tried to force me to be a vegetarian, so I got a whole bunch of tomato soup, and the tomato soup that I got had a shit ton of basil in it, and after a couple of weeks of eating nothing but that, I can't stand it anymore. So, sad.
That's how they
but
tried
okay.
to make me go vegetarian.
Yeah, she tried to make me be vegetarian, and I didn't know what to do. Ashley wasn't a nice person.
First of all, that's a horrible menu choice.
I know.
Soup.
Well, it's because she also was like, you can't eat anything that has soy. Because soy is evil and bad. And unnatural for you.
Okay.
Yeah. Her reasoning was it's the most genetically modified food on the planet. And I'm like, but what does that mean, though? So that's the Cliff Notes version. I know that it's not like the greatest thing to hear. I promise I'm okay. Yeah, Ferb says you might as well eat dirt then. Yeah, right? It was like, okay, fine. I guess I'm eating dirt. Might as well
It's
eat
still
some
eating
dirt.
just tomato soup.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't, that was, okay, because I eat soup for lunch all the time, or at least I did then. So, so I was like, okay, well, I'll go buy a bunch of tomato soup, because then I can have that with like crackers and bread, and it'll be good, and that'll be my lunch. And then, of course, having dinner was really hard because my mom cooked meat all the time. And so I was like, uh-oh, I don't know what to do. So I ate everything but that. Ferb said, I tried the vegetarian route for maybe 2.5 years, but I have a really hard time with textures, so I gave up. That's fair. Despite how I'm describing it, I have no problem with people who are vegetarians. And if you want to be a vegetarian, like, go. Oh, Nova said that her internet went out while we were talking about pizza. Oh, now we're talking about failed attempts to be a vegetarian and how a former, now ex-friend who was a really bad person tried to force me to be a vegetarian, and it kind of destroyed that possibility for a while. A good while. Although I actually eat a lot less meat than I used to now. Still eat it, though.
Fuck vegetarians. My opinion, fuck vegetarians.
Aren't you a vegetarian?
Exactly.
But, what was I gonna say? I have no problem with vegetarians, despite me talking about what is probably a bit of a traumatizing event, obviously, since I hate basil
Does
now.
does HJ mean half joking?
Yeah, half joking. Meat is literally culture here. Nova lives in Brazil, so she's talking about Brazilian food. So they don't actually eat vegetarians, but the fact is that if your culture has like a whole bunch of meat, it's probably pretty difficult to become a vegetarian because there's probably not a lot of options.
Yeah. I will say, like, texture-wise, it can be very samey. If you're going for like the artificial meats and things like that.
Yeah, especially if you have a problem with textures like Ferb does.
Yeah.
Rio Grande do Sul specifically is what Nova's talking about. That's the state.
There's this one sort of plant burger we can get. It has this very sort of meaty texture, which is quite nice. The only problem is that it tastes very plain. However, if you go ahead and get nice spices like some garlic spices, brown sugar, and so on, put that over that, it tastes delicious.
Sounds good. Nova says churrasco, which is like Brazilian barbecue, is such a big part of our culture. Then it would probably be kind of strange, or like not have a lot of options if you were a vegetarian and showed up to one of those events. They're like, oh yes, I'm happy to be here. I cannot eat anything you're making. Like, oh,
I had that the other day when I went to the strike and they were doing barbecue.
Oh no. That's always awkward when you show up to someone and you're like, oh, I can't actually eat that. I'm sorry.
It's like, so what would we serve? Sausages and bacon. Right.
You're like, oh, so I'm not having anything to eat then. Okay. Did anybody bring a salad? Yeah. No? Ah, shit.
Last Friday, I decided to go ahead and organize this over on some of my own vegetarian food. It was also interesting because they had a vegetarian then cooking meat, which I think is why I didn't have a lot of takers. So far, though, no one has complained about food poisoning.
No, you know what's actually really good at a barbecue that is excellent for everybody, even if you are a vegetarian? Sweet corn on the cob. And we have tons of corn here in the U.S. I don't know how much corn is grown other places, but it is corn, Ferb! The big lump with knobs, and it has the juice! Can't imagine a more beautiful thing. Apparently, in Japan, they really love corn on the cob too. From what I've seen in the few sources I get it from, they like to grill it and then coat it with a little bit of soy sauce, so it's like sweet, but it has a nice salty tang to it. And I'm like, oh, that actually seems really good. Corn on the cob with butter does slap. Love it. Corn on the cob, good stuff. You just have to make sure you don't accidentally buy feeder corn. We have done that before. It tastes like nothing. Okie dokie, Ferb. We're almost done. You have a good... Oh, sorry. That's not Ferb. That's King Greed. All right, King Greed. They have the same color name. You have a good night. I'll see you next time, hopefully. I'll be here tomorrow, same time. I ended up saying goodbye to the wrong person. Oh my gosh. That's embarrassing.
I'm sure there's a German word for what you're feeling right now.
Ferb is like, wow. Oh, hold on a second. Somebody needs to talk to me. Sorry about that. Somebody had a question about dinner.
No worries.
Funnily enough. We're gonna have hot dogs.
Hot dogs.
Hopefully you cannot hear the arguing happening in the next room about dinner. If you can, I'm sorry.
I focus at your voice.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Ferb. Both you and Greed have a teal nameplate in the chat, so I just glanced up and you were the one who had spoken most recently with the teal blue nameplate, and so I thought it was you. I'm so sorry.
How dare you?
I know. I could have read the name like a normal person, but no, I just glanced and made an assumption and I was wrong.
Ferb will never forget it.
I know.
There's
no way I can possibly make up for it. No way I can express my sincerest sorriness.
Sudoku is the only way, you know.
I don't like doing Sudoku, though.
Samurai feels such shame that he reduces himself to playing Sudoku.
And then realizes that he's not good at the weird math puzzle, like me. Although maybe I'm better at it than I give myself credit for. I always end up staring at it going, I don't know what the hell I'm looking at. But I always manage to solve them in games where they appear. Like in, oh, what's the name of it? Mass Effect Andromeda. There's a lot of Sudoku puzzles to try and get inside ancient temples. They've all got a Sudoku puzzle. And I was always really good at those. So maybe it's a certain kind of Sudoku. It's not the Sudoku where you have to math the answer. I don't like mathing the answer because I never know what the hell they're talking about. It's like, oh, the rows have to add up to 9. And I'm like, I need to redo Andromeda. And this time actually get through it. What happened the first time was partway through, my computer's hard drive died. And I had to get a new one. And of course, I hadn't saved the game on the cloud, so the save file was gone. And I just sat there, and then I went, I don't want to go to Vault again! And I gave up. I don't want to go back to Vault. Vault is awful. There's nothing there. It's all snow, and when you step outside of your car, you die. It's like Dragon Spine, but so much worse. Decent Dragon Spine,
by the way, have you heard the news?
About what?
Have you heard the news? Velma Dinklage officially lesbian.
Huh?
Velma Dinklage officially lesbian.
I have mixed feelings about that, actually. Nova says, math is cringe anyway. Who looked at numbers and thought, hey, I should make these complicated? No, count sheep with your fingers. Don't invent algebra. And Ferb says, we have calculators in our pockets now. Take that, teachers. Yeah! They were always like, you won't have a calculator in your pocket. You need to memorize this. And lo and behold, in the future, we did. Ha ha! But I have mixed feelings on Velma Dinkley and being a lesbian, and I'll say that real quick while I color the fart gas. Out of context, a great thing I have said. On the one hand, representation, always good. On the other hand, it is a little bit annoying that everybody takes the, quote, safe option and makes the representation a lesbian when there's a lot more people who need representation. Like, you know, gay guys, trans people, ace people, people who are bisexual or pan, gender neutral. The other thing is... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I will agree with that, but I think this is something that, like, lesbian community has won because they've been, you know...
Oh, I know.
And being a lesbian for years.
Yeah. And the other thing, too, about that is it is a little bit annoying to me that the people who end up becoming lesbians in programs and things are the ones who quote-unquote look like lesbians. And I don't like that people are shoved into a visual category where it's like, all lesbians look like this. You can be butch, or you can be femme, or you can look like Velma Dinkley, and that's it. To the point that if you have a girl who isn't a lesbian, who, quote, has the lesbian haircut, like what happened again in Andromeda, is they had a girl character who was heterosexual, she wouldn't date you unless you were a guy, had a side-parted undercut. And it was cut real short, and people were furious that she wasn't a lesbian and kept saying, you know, she should be. She has the lesbian haircut. How dare they take that away from us? And I was sitting there going, wait a minute, so if a girl goes and cuts her hair now a certain way, she's automatically a lesbian? Why can't she have long hair? Or does this mean a straight girl can't have a pixie cut? Weren't we sick and tired of, weren't we talking about how it was really bad that, you know, anytime a girl went outside in, like, chunky jeans and a breathable, roomy jacket or sweater, it wasn't okay that people were calling her a dyke? Like, come on. Anyway, the other thing, too...
It's kind of like that thing...
Yes?
Kind of like that thing where it's like, it's kind of something that I joke about, is that if you have, like, colored hair, you're part of the LGBT community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because I don't like it because it makes it feeds into this idea of the other and makes it easier for people who are bigots to be like, see, it's bad because they dye their hair, a thing that people have always stereotyped as being, like, a bad thing. That's how you know. And it's like, The other thing, too, is it's also a bit annoying when shows decide that they need to have romances in them. And that's not specifically about Velma becoming, you know, being a lesbian. Because, I mean, maybe she won't even have a girlfriend in this. And it won't matter. But it's like, a romance should not be in a narrative. Like anything else in a narrative. Should not be in a narrative unless it is serving the plot. If you've only put it in there for drama purposes... There's a stinky cloud. If you're only putting it in there for drama purposes, it has no place in your story. So if you decided that Velma needed to be a lesbian because now we can have lesbian romance drama of her girlfriend not liking her doing this or people being mean to her because she's a lesbian, then you shouldn't have done that. Because that's not going to help. It's just going to bog the story down because Scooby-Doo isn't about that. Scooby-Doo is about a bunch of kids high on pot going around the country solving crime. So I guess Too Long Didn't Read version, I have no problem with Velma being a lesbian, but I once again roll my eyes at the notion that there needs to be romance shoved into things and that, oh, of course, the You know, the girl with the short hair and the glasses who doesn't dress particularly flattering, but a lot of people thought was sexy anyway. Of course, she's the lesbian.
TLDR, if Velma's a lesbian, why can't Shaggy be gay?
You know, if they really wanted to be brave, they should have made Fred gay. And I'm only half joking when I say that, because you know they wouldn't.
Yeah. I mean, I think that too many people are like, invested in Fred and Daphne for that to happen.
Even though in the original they were not dating. Nobody was dating anybody. Again, teens, high, going around country, solving crime.
What?
It's just like the joke Red Letter Media made when they were talking about how bizarre it is in Picard that it's like, of course they decided 7 of 9 is a lesbian. And don't get me wrong, she's hot. But of course they just make a character a lesbian and then go, see how progressive we are? If you really want to be progressive, you'd have made Picard gay. You'd have made him bi, but you won't. You won't, you coward.
Okay.
You won't do
My
it.
name is Captain Picard.
They will never do it.
I've seen something, by the way, that I think Mike would appreciate. So there's a game, Grounded, where it's like Honey, I Shrunk the Kid. It's where you're a tiny person in a garden.
The orientation that starts with... Oh, gay? Is that censored too? What happened here? I'm gonna fix this. I'm so sorry this keeps happening, Nova. I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna, like, fix it so that you won't be able to say... No, what happened, unfortunately, Ferb, is I think that's my fault. Is I think I went in... I went when I first got Twitch, back when it wasn't called Twitch. Just in TV, ye olden times. I went in and it was like, okay, what words do you not want to appear? And I'm like, I will think of every mean word that somebody could call somebody. And I might have typed in gay by accident. I don't think I did, but I might have. So when this stream is over, which will be very shortly, I'm like literally finishing now. I am going to go and do something about that, because that should not be censoring you or telling you can't. Because there ain't nothing wrong with that.
The word gay?
Yep.
That's pretty gay.
Anyway, so.
But yeah.
Now, wrapping it up, let me scoot this over here. Here we go. I'm sorry, what did you have to say?
Yeah. There's a game called Grounded. It's basically Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Person that's turned into a tiny person in a garden.
Yeah.
They have an arachnophobia though.
They do, and it just turns into an orb! Turning the arachnophobia down a couple of levels actually makes them look scarier. When it's just a spider without legs, but it still has the face, it's like, yeah. Perfect. You know what, Nova, you're right. Shaggy should be gay too. Make Fred or Shaggy gay. They won't do it. They're cowards. They won't. Yeah, the spider loaf.
Like I'm like told, man.
Alright, so it's time to wrap it up. I want to thank everybody for stopping by. I'm gonna get the chat fixed. I will figure out what is wrong with that. And deal with it. Because those are things that should not be censored. There's like a small handful of words that shouldn't be said. And they're all slurs. So those will be gone. But I hope that you all enjoyed watching me create the Flatwoods monster, this little light bulb boy. With his little stinky fart cloud. And tomorrow, let's see, when we come back tomorrow, let's see what tomorrow is. Let's look at the list. List. Tomorrow, ooh, it's an international one. It is the Dobhar shoe, which is basically a giant fish otter from Ireland. Unless I am
Is it horrible?
Huh?
Is it horrible? I thought that was going to be like a combination of a Doge and Pope.
Hold on, I'll Google it really quick. Dobhar shoe. It's called the king otter. And the picture that appears for it in Wikipedia is a massive otter. Oh, here is a picture. Here is a picture from Oh boy. Alright, hold on, let me... Nope, that's not a very large image. Can I open the image, please? Copy image link. Paste and go. Here we go. This is the medieval drawing of the Dober shoe. The Irish waterhound, or the king otter. It's like a weird combination of an otter and a crocodile and a fish, and this is how it is drawn in a medieval painting. So that's interesting.
Very weird.
So we're gonna look that up tomorrow and draw many interesting pictures of this.
That's the thing.
Shump. So, but yes, again, I want to thank everybody for coming. I want to thank my friends for keeping me company. Thank you for suffering through the technical difficulties and me not knowing people's native languages. I'm so sorry. But I'm going to get the chat all fixed up, so it'll be better tomorrow. And I hope I'll see you all then. It'll be the same time, 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'll be posting the video tomorrow on YouTube, or at least whenever the upload finishes. But yeah, you guys have a good night. Bye.
Oh.
I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of my followers over on Patreon and give a special shout out to
Jack Fox, Old Monster,
Dizarin.
and Revolution 72.
Thank you guys so much for your continued support. I'd also like to give a big thank you to everyone else watching. If you enjoyed the video, let me know with a like and a comment. Be sure to have a look at the other videos on my channel and subscribe so you never miss a new one. Links to my Patreon, Twitch, and all my other socials are in the description below the video. I hope I'll see you next time. Bye bye!